here. I see them. They're just not chatting.
Matt is
You
on
beat
the
him to the
microphone
punch.
That didn't rhyme.
What up, Jeff? All right, let's go to our faces. What's up, everybody? Summertime. Kevin's here. Now, which do you like, Breaking Bad or The Wire? It's a little too early for that, I guess, huh?
Yes.
All right. I think we are. We're just gonna go straight into this thing. Y'all want to hit record on the dingus on your dingai?
On your
dingai. Man, it is slow summertime. Let me tell you. People tune out in July.
Summertime.
It's all right.
And
They'll catch you on
everyone's
the
gone.
iTunes, you know.
I mean, I don't think I watch any podcast live, so.
Yeah. Oh, the percentage comparisons. Even you look at School of Motion too. You know, same thing. Summertime got like 11 billion subscribers on their channel as well.
I got that summertime sadness. Summertime.
Who sings that?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's keep,
Why don't we
keep it that way.
I knew where it was headed.
I'm rolling. If y'all want to roll.
I am rolling as well. Oh, you get that wonderful rendition of me singing that you can put on for the bloops.
We'll put
the
that
bloops
on the
reel
end, yeah.
that we watch at the end of the
6 weeks.
the end of the 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
Jeff,
also good to
Kevin,
go.
Future, Brett. What's up, y'all? All right, is
Y'all.
everybody rolling?
Mhm.
All right, cool.
My gosh.
Kevin got his Breaking Bad in the wire in, just in case he's not there later on. You know. Let's go ahead and we're gonna do a sync clap, which will be 1, 2, 3 clap.
I'm glad we
right?
got that out of the way first.
Yeah. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Perfecto. Okay, people rolling in here. We're gonna start going. I think we've gone over everything. If y'all are feeling comfortable, we will begin the shoe.
Really good
Really
shoe.
good shoe. All right. One quick thing. Let me make sure that my air is on because my window unit is off for obvious reasons.
Obvious.
Oh, it is not on standby. Okay, here we go. What's up and welcome to another Mograph Mocast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt, and joining us today is the super talented Mr. Joel Thomas.
Hello.
And Mograph is a supplement to our site, mograph.com, which is a motion graphics tutorial site with tutorials, plugins, podcasts, and other Mograph stuff. And on the show, we talk about everything ranging from motion graphics to Cinema 4D, After Effects, plugins, render engines, doing business, doing taxes, being a contractor, or working for the man. You can email us info@mograph.com. Let us know what you think about the show. Questions, comments, concerns, queries, grievances, artist suggestions, topic ideas. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, mograph.com. Check us out there. TikTok's still going strong.
Yeah,
I need to
Dave,
get
you're
some
doing
more
some
followers.
good TikToks.
I'm getting in a race with my daughter to get followers on
Are you?
TikTok right now. I think she was beating us last night, so got to work on that. So asking for some subscribers there. Email us if you have an idea for the show. I know it's summertime and it's very slow. It's a lull. Nobody's doing anything, laying around, I guess, at the beach. Who knows? Going on their first vacation in almost 2 years.
So excited.
yeah.
Saturday. Saturday, baby.
Yeah.
Be gone for 2 weeks.
Matt's going to be gone. We've got, there will be one show that we'll miss. I think we might put an evergreen in there because we have quite a few evergreens. I think we'll probably put in the camp follow-up show that we did. It was a late night, like fireside reunion that we did one Thursday night. That has not been put in the stream. So if you didn't catch that, yeah, that was a good one. It's the one where we were trying to get Ryan Summers' microphone working the whole time.
Right.
But
That
we
was
managed
like
to
a
get it.
discussion about the like after pandemic, right?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or during pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like what's been going on and how people have adapted, and it was a good show.
Yeah.
And so Joel is here. This is going to be a fun show.
Yes.
If you
Really.
know Joel already, you'll notice that his hair is gone. It's a big deal.
Yeah, if you saw any of the what you call it, the
promos.
those promos, yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, and
It's early for me.
my question is, did you lose your graphic skills when you did that?
I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. The territory hopes not, but
Yeah. And you donated them though, right? You donated
Yeah,
the locks.
yeah, there's two good reasons for doing it. One is I get to donate it because I didn't need it. There's a lot of hair. And the other thing is a heat wave came by here,
Right.
and I was very
Yeah.
thankful to have gotten rid of it by then, because otherwise I'm not sure I would have been here today.
Yeah.
I would have fried to a crisp,
Yeah.
or just lost all of my liquids in my body by sweating.
You're not quite as metal looking anymore, but at least you're cool, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a few things I wanted to talk about real quick in our usual week wrap here is, first of all, because like Matt said, he's going out of town, we will have a show next Monday on the podcast. It will be pushed out as usual, but we will be recording it on this stream on Thursday. It's the
Yes.
usual time, but it's on a Thursday. Tori Bryant will be there. I'm very excited about that show. I've been looking forward to it because it's very much, I feel like some of the stuff we're going to talk about is kind of off the beaten path. We're trying to kind of move into these other areas, talking to somebody about architectural rendering right now and some other things. So that'll be fun. And so make sure you check that out. Something else I was going to say about that. Probably not. No, I guess I said everything. New courses. We got new courses coming out. We've got 2 of them. We are very close to being in beta for Caitlin's course, and then Brandon's RTX course is in beta starting this week. Now, I've already put a call out on the Slack, and I believe I already have enough beta testers for it. However, it doesn't mean we're done getting beta testers. We're going to send some of that out and get that going this week, and I will post in there if we need any more beta testers, probably in the general channel, and then if you're interested, I'll add you to the beta channel. So we have all of those people lined up. It's going to be it's a great course. I don't even know how to describe. Like, I just sit there in awe looking at some of his stuff, and I'm like, how is this real time?
Aww.
In awe. Aw, it's real
Exciting
time.
times.
And yeah, so you'll see a promo for that coming up pretty soon as well, with a little teaser of what's in the course. And man, it's just so great. So we'll do a show as well. We're going to do a course launch show with Brandon and possibly Windbush and some other people too. So look for that. That'll probably be, gosh, here's the problem. We got a lot of specials we want to do and things, but not a lot of time coming up because of camp and all.
Yes.
So meanwhile, we've got 2 scholarship programs that we are announcing to get a copy of either the Houdini course or the Unreal course. And we are not officially launched until later this week, but so if you go to the site, you're not going to see it yet. But I did want to play these because I have a feeling that by the time most people hear this podcast, this is going to be out. So let's just play those real quick. Hey everyone, we're excited to announce our new Creating the Unreal scholarship program for 3D designers looking to break into the world of Unreal production.
What up, what up? Wimbush here, and today I'm excited to announce that we're giving away 2 scholarships to my course on Mograph.com. If you want in, it's easy. All you have to do is submit a demo reel about 30 seconds to a minute about who you are and why you're ready to create the Unreal. Winners will be judged by a panel list of artists in the industry, including yours truly, and the winner will receive a copy of my course.
Just go to mograph.com/scholarship to get all the details and sign up.
So good luck to you guys out there, and as always, stay fresh, keep creating, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Now, I'm going to go play some arcade games. Peace.
All right. Windbush and his game cabinet, that's pretty sweet. I like his Simpsons he's got back there. So that's Windbush's promo, and we've also got one for Mark as well. I think people will find this pretty funny. Hey everyone, we're excited to announce the new Mograph Houdini Scholarship Program thanks to 2 generous donors, Sanjay Shah, and Jeff Burns. If you're an intermediate 3D designer looking to break into the world of Houdini, this program is for you.
That's right, we are giving away 4 scholarships. All you have to do is submit your demo reel, as well as a 30-second to 1-minute video about who you are and why you're not afraid to tackle stop being afraid of Houdini. Or why you're not afraid to not be afraid of Houdini.
No longer afraid to be afraid of Houdini.
Why you're
To not be afraid of Houdini.
ready to no longer be afraid to be afraid of Houdini.
You're not afraid of Houdini.
Why you're
not afraid to not be afraid of Houdini. Not
ready to
afraid
start
to
stopping.
not be afraid of Houdini.
Why you're not afraid of Houdini.
What he said. Anyway, the entries are going to be judged by a panel of artists in the industry, and the winner is going to receive a copy of Stop Being Afraid of Houdini, as well as a 1-year indie license to Houdini.
Just go to mograph.com/scholarship for all the details.
Sweet. That one was fun to make. Joel hasn't seen these before. I probably should have showed them to you before, because it's like, yeah, that's funny, guys. I don't know. I wasn't. See,
I was trying to read lips, but I couldn't do it.
The guests cannot hear what we're putting out on the show. So, I think it's going to be really cool because we're approaching these scholarships with some NFT stuff. So we'll talk about that later on in the drop. And there was something else I was going to mention about that too. And I don't remember what it was. Oh, it's the judges. There's going to be judges for this, judging the applicants. And so on the Unreal side, it's going to be Winbush and it's going to be Gabby. She was on one of the late night like Unreal specials that we did one time. And Don Allen Stevenson is going to be judging. And then on the Houdini side, it's going to be Matthias and Shams and Simon Homidal. So all of them will be judging these, and Mark will be judging them too, but we don't have them listed as that on the site. But the whole point of this is to kind of allow people who might not have access to something like this, have a chance to get in, and it's not necessarily something that you would give to somebody like straight out of high school who's never touched this stuff before. Unreal's a little bit different, I think, but because it's more of an introductory class. But if you know somebody that you think really might be a good fit for this, somebody who is maybe an intermediate 3D designer, they are really wanting to get into Unreal, but maybe there's some barriers, cost of entry, especially when it comes to geographic location. Make sure you tell them about this. So look for that later this week. You'll see that on there, and you will notice that in the little sample scholarship certificates. It says Ravi Ole, and that's an inside joke for Rev right there, who is actually watching right now. But check that out. Make sure you send that to your friends. And let's talk about camp a little bit. We've got a few updates. I guess the first thing would be the shuttle info sheet. I'll let you take that, Matt.
Okay, so for anyone who's coming to camp, make sure just read your emails. Please read your emails. Please.
Motion designers don't
are
read
the
things.
worst. They don't read their emails. Like, getting a motion designer to read an email from like a fellow motion designer is impossible, because they're all like, "Oh, this is friend stuff. I don't know. I'll just read this later."
Yeah, I'll read
right?
it 5
Whatever.
minutes before. Yeah.
But it's like, no, we like, it's camp stuff. It's like very important. We need you to read your emails. All right.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, we've had a lot of people ask us questions about like the shuttles and stuff like that. We sent out an email for you to sign up for shuttle time. We haven't built out the shuttle schedule yet. We've only had maybe a handful of people sign up for the shuttle right now, which, if that's the case,
right.
maybe we'll just rent a shuttle for a day. But we're like, making sure we've got a van for the entire time, and we don't know whether we're going to need 2 vans, and rental cars are like super sparse right now. So make sure and fill out that information. You should have gotten an email from camp, saying, hey, do that. We know some people have read the emails because we've had more people sign up to buy hoodies.
Additional
than
hoodies,
we
but they
did.
didn't sign
Yeah.
up for the shuttle. Maybe some of them
Right.
don't have their flight info yet, which is understandable.
Right. Totally.
But it's really important that you do this soon. You're going to get
Yeah.
an expensive flight if you don't book pretty soon
Right.
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We waited like 2 extra weeks because we had stupid stuff. Because I'm an idiot and didn't look through my mail for my Camp Mograph credit card, and so we had to order a new one, and so it took me forever. So we ended up having to pay like $50 to $100 more per flight, and we booked a lot of flights.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Not only do you have to
so-
read your email, but you have to respond to your email.
Right.
That's the big thing.
Also, if you bought or if you had someone buy a ticket for you, there were some people like 6 or so different orders that had multiple, multiple tickets.
Oh,
We don't
yeah,
have
yeah,
the
yeah.
information for the people who you're bringing.
We have
you
to
know,
have
and
their
we had-
information.
We had someone email us literally a few hours after, or maybe the next day after I sent out an email to all those people saying, hey, we need the info for all the additional campers because if there's special dietary restrictions or
Right.
something,
Allergies,
account for
emergency. We
that
need emergency
last
contact
second,
info. All that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is legit, yo.
Yeah, need
So
that
we
info.
need that information. Otherwise we can't, like, if you're taking a shuttle, we won't know if you're because you're
we
not
can't
getting
even check
those
them
emails.
in. We can't even check them in
We
at
can't,
camp if we
no.
don't know their name. So you should
Right, exactly.
let us know who those other people are.
So, also, we need to add you to the camp emails and stuff like
Right.
that. If you've got, allergies or
But also-
medical issues that we need to know about, we need to be able to have those on file.
But we send
So-
out info about what to expect at camp and when you
Yeah.
arrive and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff,
Exactly.
right? So
what to
like,
bring,
so you're not going to
so
get
that-
those emails if you're not signed up. Like,
Please read the emails. Read the emails.
respond to the emails. Let us know.
Right.
It's important. And the shuttle is part of the package, right? You get the shuttle. So why
Yeah.
would you jump in an expensive Uber to get out there?
Right.
when you could
And,
just,
you
you
say
know.
expensive. It's not. They're not that expensive.
It's expensive,
like
Matt.
I did the
It's
I did the
expensive.
math.
Tell
It's
them
like
it's expensive, so they'll get in the shuttle. They'll answer the email.
yes.
No, they're
if
not
you're
that
if you're
bad.
planning on taking an Uber, just so you know, an Uber is like $30 to $55 from the airport to camp.
But why
That's
spend
not
that
that
when you
bad.
could get in the shuttle?
Why spend that when you can
Yeah,
get in the
$50
shuttle?
is $50.
$50 and $50, right?
Buy you a few more beers at the
Right.
airport before you come.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but we've been full force for like the past like 2 or 3 weeks on like speaking to workshop instructors and like ordering all the swag. We got such cool swag
Yeah,
this year. I'm
yeah.
so excited about the swag.
We found some really
So,
cool
like,
things.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that. So that's gonna be a ton of fun. What else?
There are
was
some
there?
people, actually, if you are on the waiting list, there are some people that have gotten tickets. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
want to get
so-
anyone's hopes up, but you
Yeah.
never know. You never
Yeah,
know.
I mean, we had someone cancel 2 tickets, so we were able to hit up the first 2 people on that list, which was good.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah,
Let's talk about
what else?
sponsors.
let's talk about the sponsors. Without these
Yeah.
sponsors, Camp Mograph probably wouldn't have been able to happen. If it did, it would just be really expensive, like
Be probably
the
double
cool
the ticket price.
it probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have cool swag.
That's
you
true.
know,
Yeah.
a lot of like, and there wouldn't be free alcohol.
Right.
At night, which is like it's this is like a kind of an all-inclusive trip. It's fun. You just pay for your ticket and pay for the flight to get there, and then everything else is taken care of, your food, your drinks, whatever. It's going to be good. And without the sponsors, we couldn't have done that. And we're really excited to have all these amazing sponsors on board this year. First up, our village sponsors. You're going to be staying in one of the 3 villages. You've either got the Maxon Village, you've got Otoy is sponsoring, but they're going to do the Octane Village.
Mhm,
you know
mhm.
And then you've got Video Copilot as well. So big shout out to our Village sponsors. Then we've also got our gold sponsors. We just finished up all the patches for all the different, Golden Village sponsors. And man, the Grayscale Gorilla one, it looks cool. I'm really excited about that one, So we've got Minimal Massive, we've got Grayscale Gorilla, and we've got De Facto Sound. Super excited to have them on board as our gold sponsors. And then our bronze sponsors, AE Scripts and School of Motion. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. We couldn't have done this without them. Yes, Mark says in the chat,
PSA.
free booze does not mean get blackout drunk.
We
Yes.
do have to
I
abide
will
by
say-
standards, and it is licensed, and you cannot
Yeah.
be overserved. But yes,
Correct.
Yeah.
We will have actually a lot of the staff are getting licensed to serve alcohol in Oregon specifically
Mhm.
so that we can do this,
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of fun. And, I don't know. So it's funny. The average age of people coming to camp is actually like 35,
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us are like, mid-career, stuff like that. And I have a feel, I don't know. I haven't drank for going on 14 years now, so
Mhm.
I don't know how my body would react to it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who just like, I hear once you hit your 30s, hangovers are just awful. I would say a lot of people were pretty good last year, about not
Yeah,
over drinking.
everybody was pretty
except
good.
for that last night. Last night when people stayed up till 4 a.m.
I don't remember.
But,
That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it'll be camp is gonna be fun. I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. It's coming up fast.
Yeah, I know.
Like
it is.
a month and a half or so, a month and 3 weeks. It's gonna be crazy cool.
Yeah.
But the t-shirts are looking cool too. We're excited about that. Man, the swag, baby, the swag. I'm so excited.
And there's
So-
going to be some people there who you may not know we're going to be there.
Yes.
That's about all I can
we
say about
may
that,
have-
but,
we may have, invited a few extra special people along.
Just to hang
know?
out and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Mike's brother. He's gonna be there.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting Mike's brother, but
Right. I
yeah.
know. That'll be interesting. That'll be very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I think it's going to be a great time. There's there's so much to do to
Yeah.
get going. We've got a lot more
Yeah,
to
there
do.
is.
But
Yeah. So.
God, there was something else I was going to mention too. I keep
Oh, excuse me.
maybe I
Camp?
have ADHD. I don't know. I always think of stuff.
According
and
to
then it's just gone
TikTok,
if I
all
don't-
of us do.
I know, right? I was going to say TikTok thinks I have ADHD.
Right.
It's trying to
You know,
make me
a
that way.
highly addictive social media platform that gives you dopamine every 60 seconds. Oh, yeah, we've all got ADHD.
and is
that's what
implying
it
that you
is.
should get on medication so that you can pay even more attention to TikTok.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I have very focused attention for 30 seconds at a time.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. EJ reminded me of this that I need to tell everybody. Now, these have to be served by somebody, but if you bring a specific kind of craft beer that you would like to share with people in some way,
Yeah.
whether that's cans or bottles or whatever it is, you give it to us. Our team can pass that out. And either EJ will get his license or he can stand there next to the person
Yeah.
with the license and talk about it and do some taste testing. He likes to do that on one of the nights that everybody's just hanging out, chill in a I don't know, a common area. I don't know what it would be at this camp. It would have been the cafeteria at the other camp, but
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
Sarah Gibson in our Slack channel today also asked a question about like sleeping bags and stuff like that. This will go out in one of the camp emails. Read your emails, please. But we haven't sent this one out yet. But it'll be like a packing list of stuff you may want to bring and stuff, But as far as that goes, me personally, I'm going to bring a sleeping bag. So we were really excited about this one because the linens were included. We were including the linens with everything. Last year it wasn't. You had to purchase them. And like I found that the linens were a little cold, while all these cabins will be heated and stuff like that. They'll all have heat in them, I don't know. I don't want you to get too cold. So I'm going to bring a sleeping bag and a pillow, even though linens are included. You'll have, you know, sheets, towel, pillow, pillowcase, a blanket, but I don't know how thick they'll be because the ones last year were a little thin.
And
I
all
say
that
last
info
year,
that
and
you
was
get,
actually like 2 years ago.
that info
What?
that you get on that email will only go
Yes.
to you and only go to the correct people if they
Right.
have their name and email registered in such a way to
Yes.
where they can get that email, said
Right.
email,
Yes.
and read said
So-
email and respond.
Yes.
Yeah. Brett Lewis in the
Just-
chat. What's up, yo?
Just
Been
read
a
your
while.
emails, please.
Read your emails.
Because you better believe when MailChimp says 33 people didn't open your email, would you like to resend it? I'm going to say yes every time.
Over and over.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's switch over to some Ravcock. What's your flavor?
What's your flavor?
There hasn't been much of this, and you know why. It's like
because-
Seagraphy time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
So-
did their big, April NAB announcement stuff, and now we're ramping up for the next
Which is
group
weird because like
subversions and stuff.
this is the Seagraphy time of year, but now that NAB is moved, it's like, are people gonna wait
Mhm.
till NAB to make announcements? It's gonna be
I'm sure
kinda
they
weird.
will. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. That's so confusing because I don't know.
Well, I'm interested to see
Sarah, thank you for reading all my emails.
what's announced at quote unquote Seagraph as opposed to NAB. But the one thing that I did see this week in
The thing is, it's in
Rendering.
October.
well, yeah,
Like normally SIGGRAPH's in like August or whatever.
right.
And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know.
Well, the 3D motion show is next week. By
Yes.
the by, I don't know if it's officially like tagged a Seagraph show or
Yeah.
not because it's this time of year. This is when it would be. I don't even know. I haven't heard anything about Seagraph in general much at all. I don't know
Yeah,
about you.
I don't know.
I've only been hearing about NAB.
I don't know. I'm thinking I don't think we're gonna see SIGGRAPH anymore. That's me personally.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that it may not. I don't know. It's still going on this year, as far as I know.
Is it?
Like virtually, but not in person. I'm wondering though if the in-person events are coming back or not. But what I did hear was that, directly from Jules, is that I guess they're working on this PPM kernel, and he was showing left versus
Yes,
right
yes,
with
yes.
PPM and path tracing and caustics.
Yeah,
And
caustics.
pretty incredible. I mean, the render times on both images that he showed were the same render time.
But did you notice that the samples were different on both? I think
I
they were
didn't see that.
different on both. Yeah. Like
the new one looks
was
amazing.
Yeah.
slightly less, had slightly less samples on
but it was clean.
Yeah, I mean, like
I-
the difference between the two was really strong.
Oh, it was night and
like
day.
more
Yeah.
so than you'd expect by those samples for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's cool. I mean, I'll take some caustics any day. you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes so long for those to render anyway, so any
Mhm.
speed improvement is a blessing.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
people really want that. That's kind of a specialty thing. Caustics. How often do you really use caustics?
Yeah.
I
when
mean,
you want it to look beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Of course.
And I'm sure that just like always happens when a new feature or something comes out, people will start using it like
Mhm.
to the point where it's like
Mm.
you're
Yeah, get ready on
tired of it.
Instagram.
Yeah, it's
Right.
like, yeah, here come the caustics renders. Instagram, hold tight.
Wait a second. That's not even glass. Why are there caustics
Yeah.
coming off of it?
Yeah, there's caustics coming off of like a piece of plastic, like a
Right.
rough piece of plastic. Why?
Just a piece of wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
piece of wood with caustics. Yeah.
It's like it's like J.J. Abrams doing a lens flare in a cave. He did a lens flare
Yeah.
in a cave on Super 8, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? They're in a cave.
Was
You're
it
gonna
the
do a
light
lens flare?"
coming through the cave opening or what?
Yes, or something like that. But it's
Yeah,
like,
it was,
why?
it was a light on
Why?
the C stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. More.
So dumb.
I think Andrew Kramer was probably there.
He was.
Yeah, and he was like,
That one might have been the JJ.
I think you need a little more of that. I think he's like nudging him. Andrew Kramer's like,
Yeah.
hey, Hey, I think you need a lens flare in this scene. I think he probably gets royalties for it, right?
Right.
For every lens flare.
A trench coat of lens flares
Yeah.
that he's selling.
Yeah, I got anamorphic right here, and I got yeah, totally.
I got motion graphics ones,
Oh yes,
natural flares.
Natural
Maybe you're a
flares.
natural sun kind of guy.
Right.
yeah. Oh, nerd jokes. All right, so let's
Oh,
talk
man.
about you, Joel. Let's talk about all things you. If I'm sure that there are people who saw you on the Max on Motion show recently, and maybe some people who haven't met you before. So give us a little intro for yourself, and tell us about your upbringing in motion graphics.
My upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first 3D thing I ever used was Blender back when it was way more confusing to use than it is now. Although, you know, I'm gonna definitely need to like watch some courses, tutorials to get into it now because it's so different than it used to be. But I don't know did you guys play Team Fortress 2 back in the day? Yeah, that was-
I know what the game
Okay,
is.
yeah, you know Valve software, yeah. That
Yeah.
was you know, the one of the big what you call it, those like kind of after that was like Overwatch games like that. So
Yeah.
at the time, that was like the big one on campus, and I joined into like the modding community thing. So I was making models at the time, and that's how I got into texturing and everything. And then I took a break for a while, and then sometime in college is when I started switching over to motion graphics.
What were
And,
you originally in?
Originally, I thought I'd do illustration and then film because I
Okay.
do a lot of illustration work, which you can see on my Instagram. Which
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
down
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So but I always had an interest in fascination with 3D, just because there's nothing quite like a nice clean render that's like
Mhm.
highly detailed. It's like mwah, like chef's kiss. So
Mhm.
I think I always knew I wanted to do that. And then I was very fortunate to find a bunch of resources online, because I was getting into it, when Grayscale Gorilla was, had a ton of tutorials, and
Mhm.
just have been watching tons of tutorials, and now I've have the opportunity to share some of the things I've learned, which is really great. I remember, watching a ton of talks, and now I've done one, and it's exciting for me. So I'm
Mhm.
happy to be teaching people, and I like to keep. I got my drawings up here. I like to still draw on stuff, even though I don't do that for money. I like to do it just because I feel like it helps me. Not lose it. It's like you use it or lose it a little bit, and
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
not drawing for a while, it's definitely feel pretty rusty. So I just kind of like to play around, Procreate and Infinite Painter on the iPad for the most part, which is what these are. I don't really post my 3D work on my Instagram,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I was gonna say
should
I went
probably
through and I
start.
was looking for some of your art and I was like,
Where's the
Is
3D?
this guy a 3D guy?
yeah, no, yeah, it's something that I think distinguishes me, although you wouldn't know it
Yeah.
here that I do both.
Mhm.
So it's like this is the 2D section, and then if you go on like Territory Studios website, there's a number of projects I've been involved in
Right.
through my tenure at Territory. So I just tend to not share any like client work on
Right.
Instagram.
Yeah. of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, how can you
Pretty
differentiate?
work.
Do they credit it on their Instagram, or is it something where we just have to go through it and
Yeah, I guess it's not like granular or anything, so I would just have to point to which ones I did. When I'll come out with a new demo reel or something at some point, and then
Yeah.
it'll be like, oh, that's where all the 3D went. It's like it'll finally be obvious. But yeah, right now, like I don't have a website or anything, so I'm just kind of kick the can down the road for actually putting any of that stuff together. So.
yeah, I've
That's-
got
Probably
their
should've.
It's interesting that the way you got into it was because the Team Fortress stuff, like that became like memes unto itself, where people so if I know correctly, because I tried, this is how I wanted to first get into 3D. This was one of the things that I tried, where it's like, oh yeah, you can download this animator or something like this for the Team
Oh, yeah.
Fortress 2 or
Filmmaker,
something,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
I
And I was
didn't
like,
do too much. I was mostly just making the models.
never had a problem with that before. There it is.
There it is.
we
There
got
it is.
Okay, good. I think it's because my stream deck locked up actually, so I think it was doing something weird. Can
what
everybody
happened
still
on
hear
the
us?
on the
okay?
live stream?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm watching the live stream. I don't know when it goes.
Oh, to see if it,
Anyway,
yeah.
so were
There we
you
go.
building all the models in Blender first?
Yeah, I would just, so at the time, it's like when you first start, it's like you do everything the hard way because you don't know of all these tools that, one of my favorite things about Cinema 4D specifically is, I just feel like it's really wonderfully designed and everything's very clear.
Yes.
By the time there, I didn't know about like bevel tools or anything. So I literally would have a plane and I would extrude it and then move it down to get a 45 thing and then extrude it down again instead of like grabbing an edge and beveling it. So everything was super slow back then. And, I was like squishy, but, I managed to get it done and, I learned a lot doing it. And, the cool thing about like getting involved with games and stuff is, I was introduced to the whole like PBR textures, way earlier than a lot of my like fellow students when I was in school because I was already looking at that stuff. So I was like, I understood, what, a specular pass would look like. I understood that, what different levels of gray would give you, especially because back then it's just like, if you wanted to have any kind of like depth of field sort of effect, it was like 20 minutes minimum per frame. So it's like you kind of wanted to know what it was going to look like beforehand. And, so it's great now that, you can just kind of like spitball things and see feedback almost instantaneously. It's much preferable.
These kids these days.
Oh, they won't know the pain.
The child.
They won't know the pain of like deciding whether or not you want to add roughness to something. That was that was the big thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to add roughness
Yes.
to this? Oh yeah, enjoy your 5 hours of
Yikes.
rendering per frame.
Yeah, truly, that is like the thing that was most exciting about getting into Octane in the first place is just throwing on just a gray mat in there and going like, ooh, look at those surface imperfections.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
Yeah,
That's
just
funny.
being able to look real time depth of field and rack focus and see it all happen and put a sun in there and see the sun like go over the horizon and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like
Any lighting changes at all.
Yes.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I was your age.
where'd you go to school?
I went to SCAD, which is Savannah College of Art Design, down in Savannah, obviously. But
Nice.
I met a lot of good friends there, and I'm one of the only ones I know that I think moved out to San Francisco. Though I think a lot more people moved to LA. You got your classic motion hubs in the country,
Of course.
and there's a scene in San Francisco though. I didn't really know it until I got there because I kind of just traveled there without a job lined up or anything. I was just like, I'm gonna
Nice.
wing it. And it worked out.
I tried that in Portland. It didn't work. I ended up moving back.
Yeah.
When you got there, what did you do though? What was your path to like where you are right now?
Well, I was able to contact some of the studios I managed to find on Google and went in, just talked with the people, and then when they had a gig lined up, I permalanced at a couple places beforehand, and then eventually Marty at Territory Studio picked me up, and then I just decided to stick with them for a while because it was the most exciting range of projects there. Because you got to imagine in San Francisco it's largely tech dominated, and for some people that can get a little bit dry or uninspiring.
Yeah.
So with Territory, at least it was just like tech influenced, right? I don't know if you're not familiar with the work, it's a lot of like screen UI stuff, and they worked on a bunch of Marvel movies, and we're recently branching into a whole bunch of different stuff, even car interfaces, which is very cool. So
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of the companies that were doing like the fake HUD stuff for movies have really branched into actually design. It's like
for real now.
It's like why reinvent the wheel, having to create these fake ones? They've already done it. Why not make them practical, right?
Yeah, they're actually like the masters at it, so let's just hire them to do it. Yeah, it's like
life imitates art,
that's
as they say.
That's the phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, and Territory is a very reputable company as well. So it's one of those coveted jobs, I think, almost. So I'm interested to how you got in, how you got, Was
Yeah,
I mean, I know like anything, it's about who you know and being in the right place in the right time and all that. But obviously you need talent as well. So
yeah, and another thing is, yeah, especially with timing, it's what can you do that is needed on that project in that moment. And so, yeah, I was talking with a bunch of students actually at SCAD because I had the opportunity to. They do this thing called co-motion, and I attended that and had the opportunity to do like portfolio reviews. That's where I was looking for with students. And I was really pushing them to say, think about it in terms of what kind of proficiencies and technical skills does this demonstrate? Because a lot of times, like when I'm looking through portfolios and we're looking to hire someone new, and I'm thinking like, does this person know how to light? Do they know how to, work with dynamics or, X particles or whatever it is? And, at the time, because of this 3D background I have with, modeling, UV unwrapping and everything, the jobs I was getting had to do with, working with, models, retopologizing, doing UV stuff. And I knew how to do all of that. So that was actually one of my entry points earlier on. And then because they just, liked hanging out with me and I liked working with them, we just, we started a relationship.
Yeah.
See, being cool, being nice, people liking you, that'll get you in, right?
yeah.
It is. Yeah. It's actually very important, surprisingly.
I want to talk about a little bit about the importance of graphic design background and like film background. It sounds to me like because you were kind of in it for film originally and you were into illustration, that you kind of had a good combination of both.
That's a good starting point,
Yeah, I mean, the illustration, especially because that's something I have, a lot of actual practical experience. And with the film stuff, it was more of like the interest, right?
Right.
I love the cinematic kind of, look and feel of things and, just the way films are put together. And that works well with Territory because we do so much, film work involved in there. So that does make it more attractive. But I do wish that I had more time behind the camera beforehand because, that really kind of sets you up thinking in terms of, shot framing and, the lighting of things and, what lenses and stuff you're going to use. Because when you use that same language in 3D, I think the result can be, better as opposed to because like in the 3D software, you can do whatever you want. And that's not always, conducive to like constraints are oftentimes very helpful with that. So thinking about real world constraints, I find very helpful. So I'm always, whenever I can, I work in like near real world scale because it's like these units are arbitrary, but it still helps me to conceptualize it going like, okay, this thing is like a foot tall and the camera is like 6 feet back and everything like that. So that does help there.
Yeah, there was a conversation about that on the School of Motion stream that EJ was having with, I think, Chad, and Nick was on there too. They were having this conversation about, like, if you make something, how tall is that thing, right? So let's say you're going to model, a little character, like one of EJ's characters, right? This is something that I actually do think about, but he asked the question, do you think about that? And it's like, okay, if you're going to model a character, you're still going to think, like, how tall is this character? Is it an inch tall? Is it a foot tall? Kind of like those little action figures. Your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were generally, 5 or 6 inches tall, but then they had like the big foot tall ones you could get. But that's kind of like not really like the same as far as collecting. But when you're modeling these things, how big are they? Because I feel like it actually kind of gives you a good idea in your head about what you're working with.
Yeah, because the other thing is if you're trying to repurpose any setups you've made, then if you work in any consistent scale, then it's going to be way easier. And I find real world is just so easy to be, like this pin here, like I know how big this is in real life. And if I make it in there, then I know what that means instead of oh, this pin is actually 6 feet, tall. It's going to be confusing for me. And if especially like specular stuff, that also has a problem with that.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, I don't save my models in a nice place, all organized and everything. If I'm like, I need a rocket ship model. Okay, well, when's the last time I used that?
Yeah.
Okay, go to
when did I do a
yeah.
rocket ship?
Oh yeah, I use the rocket ship for that thing. Okay, well let me find that file, and I go to Dropbox because inevitably
Yeah.
it's archived somewhere in there, and I do a search and I find it and I download it. But the nice thing is, if you're working in that consistent scale and you have to go find that pen and bring it into your scene where you've already built a desk, the pen isn't going to be the size of the desk. It's going to be
Yeah.
the correct size
Yeah.
already because you always work consistently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's always funny
I
when
need
you
to. I
bring
need
in the
to.
model
I
and
need
it's
to
just
be. I
enormous.
need to be better about that. I need to be better about that.
Yeah. What it's the default cube is what? I
It's like a
forget.
meter, I think, something like that.
Is it?
Me too.
Yeah, I work in inches all the time, so
Oh, I'm in centimeters.
Yeah.
See,
Metric
I feel
system.
Yeah.
we should all be in centimeters. We should all be in centimeters.
it'll still be consistent. It'll still be consistent from project to project. But that is an interesting question. Is like, why do you work a certain way?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess inertia. It's like whatever way you start, you'll continue working in.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you
I
were
had
talking
a-
about like physics inertia.
Yeah, no,
But
I
that,
wasn't
that
more
too
complicated
sometimes.
than that.
But you know.
Yeah.
I had an art director one time. I was like, "Oh, I'm working in centimeters." Why are you working in centimeters? You don't live your life in centimeters.
This is
I'm like,
America.
well, I mean, I would
Yeah,
I
this
would
is
like
America.
to, you know. And just a few weeks ago, or last week, I was talking to my dad, and I was like, "Oh, it's about 2 centimeters." I don't know how much 2 centimeters is. You know, get out of here with that commie BS. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like the most boomer thing he could ever say.
That's funny. Yeah, when I'm working, I work in inches because I either am working on that scale where I'm making like a, setup with a desk on it or something, or if I'm doing a logo, I always kind of make a logo a foot tall. That's always kind of my generic. But if you work too big or too small, your default camera is going to be all funky as well. You're going to have either a really small or a gigantic camera, and you have to scale it and do all that. But
It's real bad for Sims too.
it's bad for
Like,
Sims.
We've ran into issues with like TFD and stuff like that. The
TFD
fire just not
especially.
looking right.
I'm about
Yeah.
halfway through my TFD tutorial. I'm kind of to the presentation portion of it. But the part where I'm explaining it, I actually state at the beginning, I'm like, look, I know it's the thing to work at scale, but if you can get away with bringing your object into the default size of a TFD container, you're going to have such a better time. And you're if you can get away with it. So don't email me telling me. But
Yeah.
whatever. But the thing about me working in inches is I liked it because not only is that usually the correct scale and close to what I need to do, but then if I am going to do something like, say, build something architectural, like a room or something, I can just multiply everything by 12 and get my feet as well.
Yeah.
And it's nice and simple that way. But again, it's because it's America, and if I'm working on something architectural, everything I get is going to be in feet. So, whatevs.
Yeah.
Anyway, so day to day, what do you work on day to day? What types of animations, but also what types of software are you generally in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Recently, I have been able to use ZBrush on a couple of projects, which is cool because I've finally, downloaded that and got into it, and I think it's a, very cool if not complicated, program. So it's like whenever I get to incorporate some extra things, I think it's nice. But sometimes the time crunch is just, excludes that as a possibility, which is always a bummer.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Okay.
Because if you looking at your Instagram, you have a bunch of like body and like heads and stuff like that. You
Robots,
understand,
Yeah.
but you understand like the human form and stuff like that. Have you found that helps a lot? Like your illustrative background helps a lot when modeling or like sculpting in ZBrush.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you're drawing, it's like you're doing a mental projection of a 3D object onto a 2D plane. It's
Right.
the most technical way of describing drawing.
Yeah. No.
But I was like, it really is helpful because it helps me practice being able to mentally rotate an object around my mind, and also you imagine like with the proportional relationships. That's the biggest thing for me is paying attention to proportional relationships of things. So it's like practice doing it in 2D, and then when you're designing in 3D, that same consideration is there, because we all know like you have your golden ratio and stuff like that. And it's if you're not paying attention, it's really easy to just have everything be really even. So it's just like you would get a box and like when you extrude it, it's like half the width or anything of it, and so it's like your design at the end just kind of looks very, like a child built it out of blocks, because it's like the default sort of thing. So that is super helpful, I think, for me to do that.
Do you do a lot of character stuff for the most part then in 3D?
In like 3D,
like,
you
what's your, like?
No, I mean, I'm wanting to use or to learn ZBrush more in depth, and I have like tutorials and stuff I'm watching, so that because I draw a ton of robot stuff, and have a fascination with like these mechanical parts, and also like the human form. So that's why I'm interested in getting into in terms of like characters. But yeah, I mean, I don't do anything like what EJ does with like your kind of noodle arm characters, which are really nice, but I haven't really had any projects come that have been like that. A lot of the projects I have been on have actually been almost like concept art focused in general, where it's like we're just creating designs, and because a lot of times we are just designing things for people at Territory, whether it's like a screen or like a hologram in particular. Have done a bunch of those.
But do you build robots though? Like, do you build
like in real life?
No, not in real life, but in 3D, do you build a lot of robots and things that?
Not yet.
Like,
that's like what my current interest is in doing. Like
Okay.
that's where I want to go.
All right,
Cool.
Because I know, because ZBrush, definitely you can build a robot in ZBrush, but I didn't know if maybe you had done more of a mechanical version of a robot, build like hard surface type.
Yeah, hard surface.
Yeah, I've done box modeling in the past, but I was mostly doing like weapons initially. So whether it's like guns or swords or anything like that, because those are pretty accessible. And I've used some CAD modeling programs now, which is great for the hard surface work. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Vitaly Bolgarov, and he's like buddies with Ashorp and everything. And so all these guys are using CAD to do these complicated, you can even just like build a fancy looking console. Like I know that Ashorp's Akira project, which I thought was very inspiring, came out a couple years ago. Yeah, like all those like buttons and hardware surfaces. I think the majority of them were made with CAD. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, definitely look into CAD stuff, because it can be way easier for you than doing polygon modeling. Yeah. Polygon modeling is a chore, man.
Yeah.
Do you? Is it Fusion 360? Are people still using that?
Fusion 360, yeah.
Yeah, I have that now, and you can get that one for free actually. With some limitations, and there's also MOI. And a few others, but those are the main two I know.
Fusion 360 is like it got really big in the motion graphics circles for a little bit, and people were really talking it up. And then I just haven't heard much about it recently. I mean, I figured it's still around, but I didn't know if people were still actively like going to try and learn it right now, or if it's just something people in architecture and product were still using. But
it's kind of, I think there's like these fads that go by, right? Like, for Blender was like, suddenly it's like everyone's I gotta learn Blender, and now Unreal I think is the preeminent one. Obviously you guys even have this course thing coming up, so that much is clear.
Yeah, totally. We bid on a project last week or the week before, and it was like they needed it done extremely fast. It was an okay amount of money, but it still was like too extremely fast to get it done. And it was like one of those projects.
They wanted
where,
it
like,
by the end of the month.
Yeah, one of those
and
projects
then it's like,
where
I'm also out of town for 2 weeks.
Yeah, where you're like, we could do this, and it would be a decent amount of money, but it would also be like the most stressful next three weeks. And it's like, do we really want to do that? And we didn't get it because somebody was going to use Unreal instead. And I'm like, I really hope you're successful with that, but I just don't like. Unreal is great to learn, and it's going that direction. It's going to be great for some things, but what they were trying to do with it was like, I don't know if it's ready for that yet. I'll be interested to see the results, but man,
I think
it's always fun to see the results when you like. There's been a few times where we've made bids on stuff and they're like, oh no, that's too much, we're going to go with this other company, and then you see the end result and you're like, well, that's not that good, we could have done that.
Yeah, it's the thing with Unreal right now is that like people are doing a lot of virtual production with it, and there's some great stuff that you can do with RTX and all that, but like this particular style was very illustrative, and it was kind of into the Spider-Verse style, and I'm like, I haven't seen anybody really doing that with Unreal yet. That's kind of like, it's like, okay, where is this going? Because I feel like it would be something that you could do in Unreal. I just haven't seen anybody do it yet, and it'll be interested to see. I'll be interested to see some of these other styles coming out of it, right? Because right now everybody's like real big on the high poly, Unreal 5. How realistic can we get this? But I'm not seeing much coming out like in the super, like stylized renders in Unreal right now. Besides video game stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like, if people brought that stuff together, that might be kind of nice. But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just
I think
my
it's going to
feed.
boil down to the animation tools available and how comfortable people feel using them. Because
Absolutely.
I would choose different things based off of that for sure.
Like, is there a tune shader for Unreal?
Sure,
Maybe.
there is.
I don't know.
I mean, you just build the material.
I guess.
The thing is, like, I think this is what happens. These trends go by. And slowly people move to these. Everyone's gonna try it out,
Right.
and then a few people will actually pick it up. Like it becomes the thing. It becomes a big part of what they do.
There's gonna be like one or two people that really like take it and run with it really well, and they're the ones that are kind of like setting
and everyone
a standard.
emulates.
Yeah. So when it comes to like doing some sort of tune shader style, I'm sure there's going to be a specific trend or a specific way of going about it that becomes the norm. I haven't seen anything yet, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, you have your Beeple and then your Beeple clones, and now it was like who are people going to be cloning? I guess
Right.
with these new tools.
Who's going to be doing the Unreal dailies for the next 10 years?
Yeah,
Right.
We're going to be interested to see. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. So Joel, what else do you do at Territory?
Well, I just do whatever needs to be done, I guess. It's just like, any kind of I'm more of like a technical guy. I don't know if that's already come across, just because I like to I get excited about, tools and everything and, using new things. And so I've kind of like inhabited that role in our San Francisco office because, Territory does have like, these two branches. You got London and San Francisco. And we've been working on, different projects. So it's kind of like we're dividing and conquering a bit. So it's like the San Francisco office is, smaller and we're a little bit scrappier. So we're dealing with, projects, as they come and, doing new things each time, really. Like I hardly ever work on the same thing twice, really. It's always some
That's
new,
good.
So.
And you're
it's
technically in Seattle.
Yeah, over this pandemic, I did end up moving, because I didn't feel the need to stay in San Francisco anymore if we were going to be remote anyway. And I've moved here with my twin brother who, we're identical. So if he was here,
What about the hair? What about the
does he
hair,
have
though?
long hair or short hair?
No, it's like medium length now, but if we were to cut it, then it would be hard for you guys
I
to
was
tell.
gonna say
maybe.
because then if he had short hair, you know exactly how you look.
It
once
was
you cut
super
it.
obvious.
Yeah.
When I had the long hair, it was like, well, that's obviously Joel.
Yeah.
Right.
You could spot me a mile away. And then I also have my college roommate here, so we've been hanging out. He's a VR developer, so we've been working on collaborating with stuff together. And we actually
Nice.
came out with a project just last night, which I was hoping to mention at some point. So maybe it's a good
Totally.
segue. Yeah.
Totally.
And
What is that? Let's bring it up.
it's if you go to my Instagram, there's some stuff there, but we made a website called conceptinator.com, and it's just a concept art prompt generator. So I don't know if you've ever seen like these RAM text generators, but I wanted to make one that was explicitly made for, helping come up with ideas for practicing concept art, because that's what I find myself doing in the mornings. Like every morning I go down, draw on the iPad for a little bit. And so I was like, it'd be nice if I had some way of
cool.
coming up with ideas. So we made that, and there's a YouTube link there, and you can watch a video thing. We made this like funny little cheeky YouTube ad to explain it. So it's a very simple retro website.
It's like our rando render, where yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so made it have a couple different categories, more of like a concept art thing, which has just always been a fascination of mine. You know,
Nice.
so
Oh,
I
that's
like
cool.
to bring the
I
two
like
worlds
this.
together.
I like this.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
this
a
is
fun
cool.
little project to work on.
Okay, well, I'm going to bookmark that one for the show notes for sure.
Yeah,
Make
totally.
sure we put that in the
Nice.
show notes. So,
Totally.
Brett
Hold on,
Brett
real
was
quick.
actually mhm.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah,
you
Brett
got-
was
you
actually
got- maybe you read
asking
my mind.
about working remote, which is where I was going with this whole thing. And like, how has remote been working for a studio like that, especially when it comes to things like equipment and rendering and file management?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not always the most ideal. I think that if you're like a prestigious kind of freelancer, then you already have your own setup at home and everything, and
Right.
you've
Yeah.
been used to doing that lifestyle. But for a lot of people, and myself included, like the studio thing is a nice setup to have because everyone's around you. You can talk to them directly, and so those are the shortcomings of going remote, which is
Yeah.
I now no longer have like an intimate idea of what my coworkers are working on, or if they need help on anything, or if I need help on something. So
Yeah.
you do have to be purposely more communicative on things like Slack. But I had
Right.
a setup of my own, so I was able to just use that for this remote transition. But
Are you
yeah,
generally
it's
rendering, or are you sending it back to them for rendering things? Or
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because there's also some rules and stuff we're trying to abide by in terms of like security purposes, stuff like that. So
course.
that'll change on the project.
Right.
Yeah.
Are y'all using Teradici
oh yeah,
for all your stuff, or are you working locally?
for screen sharing things. If you do, you
Oh,
even need to do that?
Remote, like remote workstation stuff.
Yeah. There's some different ones. I was using AnyDesk for some things.
Okay.
But yeah, I think there's a couple different ones to choose from. But yeah, most recently I've been able to work on my own local machine for a number of projects, so that's been nice because
That's
there's
cool.
the lag can be a little bit frustrating sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
The
But see,
connection.
Brett is talking about like TeamViewer in the chat. If you have not heard of Parsec, oh man, check out
Parsec is awesome.
If you want
I
to
really
feel
like
like you are
Parsec.
on the computer that you're on,
Yeah.
The thing about TeamViewer, like you can't use like Cinema 4D, rotate, move, all of that. It just flips out and it just goes all
Yeah.
over the place. If you want to feel like you are on the computer, adjust bandwidth accordingly, all of that. Like
Yeah.
Parsec is just phenomenal.
I've been able to. You can play video games remotely,
Right.
on your computer
Yeah.
through Parsec. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's really really cool.
very low.
Yeah.
That's what
I-
it's designed for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll check
So
into that.
I think this is. I'm so happy that this is happening in our industry, in like industries in general,
Mhm.
that people are that it's becoming much more normalized for people to work remotely. I've seen so many TikToks, some really good TikToks where the HR rep is like, okay, we finally got the schedule back for coming back
Yeah.
to work, and the other person's like, oh great, oh you're excited? No, I
No,
quit.
I quit.
Yeah.
No, I quit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and
I
but
think
it's
so-
like it's
Okay.
becoming normalized,
Yeah.
and like that was always a big thing with like big studios and stuff. It's like, no, you come work locally because
I must watch everything you do at every minute.
well, no, we've got trade secrets, we're working with big companies that require us to work locally and stuff like that.
But
and it's
why
like,
though?
But why though? Yeah, I mean, I get the secrecy and stuff can get out a lot
But
more
stuff can
easily.
still
with-
get out. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If someone wants for it to get out, it's gonna get out.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see like this being normalized because as for freelancers, or like people who run small businesses that have always been remote like us, it's like because this is so normalized, it's like, all right, we can get booked for 6 months out of the year with a studio in San Francisco, a really well-known studio, and it's like no big deal.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that a lot of places got a little bit like conservative in terms of not wanting to try anything new or just like kind of locking things in the status quo. I've always felt more adventurous, so I think that if there's one good thing to come out of all this is that there's kind of like this forced kind of like innovation time where there's some technical things that you need to figure out, and I think it's good just to mix things up anyway. And for a lot of people, I think one of the biggest bummers is that not every company is created equal. I feel, really blessed to be a territory where we're all like, friends essentially, and, everyone's on good terms, and, there's communication, from every level. There's no like strict hierarchy where you have to like kowtow to the higher ups or anything like that. And so if you're in a situation like that, then everything like this goes so much easier. Whereas, I guess it could be much more of a drag, like in the situation you're describing, where people are, it's like, come on back in, and then people are like, I don't want to, it's like, I wouldn't mind going back to the office if I was still in San Francisco. I was enjoying my time there.
It's fun. It's fun to be around your friends and to brainstorm and do all of that and go out to lunch together and do that kind of thing. But I will say that before all of this happened, Matt and I were already doing that remote thing for years, and we just sit on Skype all day. It's really not that much different than sitting there.
It's not, no.
And being on the phone, like not just calling in and having a Skype meeting, but just having it running all the time.
It was weird. Like, we'd just Skype in the morning and then we just stay on Skype. And that just kind of became the norm, with us. And it's like, anytime someone's got a meeting, they'll just add them to the Skype call.
Yeah. Add them to the Skype call, or if if it's something off the beaten path, just get off, go do the call, and then call back. And we just sit there because we have company and we can brainstorm and we can talk about things. And it's pretty much like being in an office. It's not that much different.
That again just shows how much nicer it is to work with people you like, because otherwise it'd just be like, don't look at me. Like I don't really want this relationship.
The thing about working remote though is, like, years ago, and right up until the pandemic, I guess, if you're working in an office and then you go home at the end of the day and you get an email or you get a text from somebody at work, they still expect you to answer, right? If it's the weekend, sometimes they still expect you to answer, at least answer the email or answer the text or be available or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, well, you want me to do work on personal time, so you should also be okay with me doing personal stuff on work time every once in a while, as long as it's not something ridiculous. But it's like, oh, if you're going to be sitting remote, say 8 hours a day, working for somebody, they should probably be okay with you taking a 20-minute break and doing the dishes or something.
Right.
Going on a walk.
Going on a walk and coming back, because you'll probably work later. You'll probably spend extra time. You'll probably be more efficient when you come back. Oh, you got to take a phone call. Oh, you got to go pick up your kid from school. Fine.
Yeah.
Why not?
Here's the
people.
way I've always, anytime I'm working with a freelancer or whatever, it's like, I'll give one of them like a deadline and what I expect them to do. I don't give two craps when they get it done, or like, and I just say, is this reasonable? If they're like, yes, then I don't care what they're doing for the rest of the time.
It's going to take you a day to do it, but you need actually 3 days to get it to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
cool.
What's wrong with that? Like,
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helps to be results focused in that way. I don't know.
Yes.
Again, I think it boils down to, like, people are just pretty hesitant. If you're in a scarcity mindset, then it's like you can't make these concessions because it's like you want to squeeze the last drop, but then I think it's always detrimental.
Yeah, there's that old school mentality that you have to be in the seat or else it's not worth the money. It's like, no, I don't care about the minutes. I care, like you said, about the results.
About the results.
Your rate
100%.
is $800 a day. Okay. If you're giving me $800 worth of results, okay, that's all I care about. Like, I don't care that you picked up your kid from school. Like, what does it matter what time you're doing things so much? Oh, you're going to do it at midnight. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have spread my work throughout the day, because of working remotely. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But that's
Pedro's
more on me.
In the chat was asking, don't you guys think working remotely is going to make our industry an even bigger race to the bottom with more people competing for the same jobs? I don't necessarily think so. Like,
wouldn't they be there anyway, or would they not?
Yeah,
be
I mean, the thing is, if anything, I don't know if it'll be a race to the bottom. I think, like, the big studios will have more opportunities to hire some better people, because they're able to get them remotely now. You know,
I
like
think
they're
it
not.
boils down to leadership. Oh, sorry. I thought.
No,
you were
go
done.
ahead.
No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
You know, with a proper leadership, I think that you can maintain, a good company culture and get everyone continue to be excited in it, because, any place that's looking at the numbers only and optimizes for things along those lines, then yeah, you could reach out and find, whoever is going for the cheapest rate, which probably is going to be out of the country. And,
Yeah.
there's going to be snags with that due to just, even language differences, or just differences in work ethic, or just idealism, or anything like that. And I think that a lot of companies would fray themselves apart if they weren't careful about doing that. I think that it's really important to be selective with who you're hiring anyway. And then if you're in the business to have a successful studio, and it for to be successful for you as well as for the people that are working for the studio, then I think that can maintain itself, and I think the work will be much better. So I think those studios that can figure that out can act as an example for other studios. But I mean, surely there's going to be places that just do that race to the bottom, and no one would want to work for them because they would do bad work,
And that's
it
the
would
thing.
be terrible to work at.
Like the race to the bottom usually is more about the stuff like, let's say Roto, for example. Okay, there's nothing really creative about Roto. It's kind of a mindless process, and you sit there and do your thing, and yeah, you can outsource that to another country for pennies.
Which we have.
Which we've done before, because we don't want to do it. And it's like, that's
Yeah.
valuable. But there's no way you're going to outsource creativity in that same way. It's not going to happen. And don't tell me AI is going to do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think AI is just going to help people that are already creative.
Right.
They'll make them more productive potentially.
Right. AI is not going to come up with some good idea for. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand your comment. Simple economics, more workers available means lower rates because studios kind of have better pool. But
there's also perception there, right? It's like, what is that job that you're hiring for? Is it something that is, more distinguished, or is it more like Roto?
And you're also thinking in a generalized standard, like a lot of take Artie Vinchute, for example, like anytime, and I know this just because, we talk a lot. I'm using them as an example, but I'm sure a lot of other studios do this. Whenever Barton's looking to hire someone, at least locally, he looks all over the world. He hired someone from Australia, because they fit their specific way of doing things, their culture. They had the skills that he was looking for, and I think a lot of studios would still, like, if they were still working locally, would still hire people and fly them or like move them to that locale. Now it's just saving them some money because they don't have to move them there.
Well,
you know what I'm
saying?
saying?
Think about anybody in California right now. If you're going to do that, you're going to outsource. You're not going to bring a Californian on board because they're going to want too much for their day rate.
Yeah, it's going to not be so great for that, to be honest.
But
unless you were already good.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for people in Texas or these states where you can get a McMansion for, a fraction of the price you can get a house in California. But
that's true.
There's good opportunities. Like Matt said, like before any of the big studios, it's almost like you have to move to California. You got to move to New York. But now there's more opportunities for people like us who are just freelancing wherever. You can go live at the North Pole.
I'm thinking in the future we'll see places pop up in areas you don't expect, places like North Carolina or Texas where the overhead can be much lower, and maybe like overall prices might go down a little bit, but that doesn't mean that the margins would be worse. In fact, I think that they could easily be better for everybody because all those costs could be down. I think that boils down to, because if you're making decisions solely based off of how much things ostensibly cost, then you're not really doing business very well to begin with, because if you're doing it based on more of a value metric, then it's just like if you do something great and it's going to be very valuable for the company, then your rates ought to reflect that, not how much it costs to have an apartment in California, right? That's like a factor for pricing it, because it's like you want to price it based on how much what the earning potential is. But
if you were going to hire somebody straight out of a college for $500 an hour to work on a 3D piece, but your option was to pay $2,000 to get Beeple.
Yeah,
Like, what
I
are
mean,
you gonna
Beeple has all the
choose?
street cred. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's yeah, you're gonna just pay for what's good, you know. You're
Yeah.
just gonna pay. You're gonna get that value, like you said. It's all about the value. It's about like, is this person gonna make this thing successful? You know, if I've got a client who's like super high profile and they want something very specific, you know, again, like they're like, oh well, we want the style of Spider-Man and we want it to look just like it, and we have the budget for it. Well, okay. Well, I'm not gonna hire 3 animators at this price that I've never heard of. I'm going to hire one animator at this higher price.
Hire someone who worked on.
Right.
Yeah.
Who
the
worked
thing,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why not?
Totally. Get fried pickles.
Right?
Yeah.
Fried
Yeah.
pixels.
I know. Everybody.
Fried
It's the
pickles.
joke. That's the
Pretty good
joke.
name, yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. What have you worked on? Here's always the problem, right? As much as you can say, because you never know, NDAs and such. What have you worked on in the past that was like your favorite thing, or maybe even a few things?
Oh, one of the things that I thought was pretty fun was this company called Atom Limbs approached us, and they are doing next generation prosthetic arms, and that's the kind where it has the neural link between your arm, so that you can open and close your hand and everything. So it's searching for those impulses. I don't know how the technology works. It's beyond my pay grade, but we were helping them conceive of what a more friendly kind of like more design focused arm might look like, because a lot of times they're very practical, utilitarian. It's just like it looks like very it's just
a hook.
like it's just like it's just the machinery itself.
With a hook.
So I was on that project to design the arm for them, and it says like their engineers will take it from there to try to make that a reality. But I thought that was very exciting, and I definitely do want to do more of that sort of stuff, because it's pretty crazy to know that that's going to have like a real world impact later on.
Right.
It's like it might look different than what I designed, but still cool to be involved in that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm looking at their website right now. So like, did they? That's a really cool idea. Like, so did they have the tech already built? They just needed it to look cooler,
Pretty much.
Because I'm looking at their video versus like what's obviously a 3D modeled arm,
Yes.
And that 3D modeled arm looks sick. It looks good.
That was actually the first time I used ZBrush.
Really?
For that
good.
project, yeah. So that was the opportunity. I was like, I get to finally use this, because doing that with cinema sculpting tools wouldn't have been as easy. I had a coworker on that one who made the main shapes and everything, and then I was able to bring it to its final state there. So it's I like all these things that are like Mograph adjacent.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of like how I would picture myself. Like I'm on like the fringe of all these things. Like I'm interested in concept art and this sort of stuff. But then motion graphics is, I think, just such a great way to showcase anything and everything, because you can do whatever you want. If it's moving and it's a graphic, then it's motion graphics.
Right.
It's
Right.
really broad. Yeah. So,
Brett, going back to that other subject, he says, I do feel for the juniors. Back in the office was great to help
Yes.
them train. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
and a lot of people who are coming out of college are like, oh, I want to go freelance, and in general, most people are like, if you have time and you're able to go work in a studio for a little bit right out of college, it's such a great idea, and that's the reason. You've got when you surround yourself with this talent, you absorb it.
Here's what I will say though, like, back when we were juniors, fresh out of college,
I'm still a junior, but
we'd have a job and we'd learn a lot from someone higher up, specifically because there wasn't resources out there for us to learn this stuff. Nowadays, if someone wants to learn motion tracking or ZBrush or something like that, you can easily buy a course or go onto YouTube and find this stuff. And then with like meetups and Slack groups and stuff like that, you become a part of this, and it's like you can very quickly, through these avenues, work your way up from junior to senior in a very quick fashion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think that there is definitely something to be said about the junior artist, because I think a lot of times, there's this insecurity involved where it's like you want to get into the studio or something like that, and if you're not good enough to get yourself into a studio that is working at a higher level where you're going to excel both technically and creatively, and you're going to learn from people that are very good, then you're going to have to settle for a studio that's probably going to have you be more of a pixel pusher, and then they're going to want to use you more of a pair of hands. And with that, I would say that isn't really like studio experience like what we're talking about here. That's getting paid for doing work. And I think at that point in time, it's really important to acknowledge that your time is way more valuable than the money that you're earning. So I would not want to be working at a place that's going to demand extensive hours of my day. I would want to work for one, even if like the work seems like a downgrade from another one that's like adjacent to it. I would rather do the one that has me working less hours, so that outside of that, I could continue to work on personal things to finally, migrate into a studio. So I would definitely think of yourself as like, what do you call it? Like someone that's like moving around a bunch, like, think that you're
Man
like
of many
a
hats.
nomad.
Yeah. So I think that's a much better mindset to be in, so that, it's like to know that this isn't the end destination, that, your destination to get elsewhere. And that's going to involve, learning how to do new things and, making things that look good. Back to like the stuff at the beginning, it's like, if there's any kind of technical thing that you can pursue so that you can provide that as a service to some things, and that is also useful. Because, it's not just about like whether or not you're a creative person, because if you can't demonstrate that, then no one would ever know.
Right. Which is why you have to do dailies and things that, or whatever, or projects that show what you want to do so you get those jobs. But there's also nothing wrong with taking a job that might be like super cookie cutter-ish for a while. I mean, the place that Matt and I worked at way back in the day, it was just like, it was just a factory, it was an assembly line system, just logos, extruding logos, making logos, flipping around and light them and do all that stuff like 1,000 billion times. And it's like that.
To the same song.
To the same song.
Over
but the
again.
thing is, like, you got that experience now. If somebody wants me to make a logo right now, bam. I'm gonna
45 minutes.
knock that thing
Done.
out. You know what I mean? Something simple.
Yeah, you got a lot of mileage on that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's at 10,000 hours, and all these little minute little tricks and tips and things that you learn, and it's second nature, and all of a sudden it's like you can just bust anything out in a few minutes. But what do people do now? What do juniors do now that can help them kind of get that feel if they're not in a studio? Do you like get in Slack channels or Discords? Do you take classes? I don't know if I'm not expecting y'all to have the answer to that, but
I mean that was my answer. You know? Like if you don't, that's the joy of today, is that you can find the answer to anything. Anytime any one of us, when we were younger, wanted to, or when we were earlier in our career, wanted to learn something, you'd see so many people incorporating all the Grayscale Gorilla tutorials in their reel, because that was the newest thing that we learned, because there wasn't a lot of resources out there.
I think something that's important to remember is that being good at motion graphics isn't measured by how few tutorials you need to watch. It's generally the people who I know who are the best are ones that watch more. Actually, they'd be like, I watch like stuff all the time. I'm always trying to learn new things. That's like the mindset to be in, not like I'm not good because I don't know how to do this dynamics process, or I don't know how to do whatever it is. It's just like I forget stuff all the time. I don't remember anything.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. It's funny, like you'll do a project, and then you'll find like for example, if I was jumping into Aces or something like that, I've done it before. Can I explain to you how to do it now? No, not
you'd
at
have
all.
to go back, and then
But
you'd be like,
I
oh
can
yeah,
go
that's
back
right.
because I know the exact tutorial that I need to look up in
it
order
Andre
to
Lebrov?
tell me how to do my setup.
Right.
You know?
You're getting better at learning and figuring stuff out more than you are getting better at like motion graphics as like some kind of actual entity. It's really amorphous.
Or you're like, I used to know how to do that thing. I used to be able to do this. I can't remember, and you Google it, and it's your own tutorial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My-
I've told some people it's like I gotta start making tutorials so I can remember how to do things.
Yeah.
So I can have this reference back
Yeah.
for myself.
Gosh, it's such a great way to like really like lock in something in
Yeah.
your own brain is to explain it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is when I remember when I need to know how to do something and it's the place that I remember is a really obscure like uh uh like presentation from like 4 years ago at like a SIGGRAPH one, and like you've got to remember who the person is and then find it exactly. I don't know. There's been multiple times where I'm like, okay, I remember who the presenter was and what they were presenting.
It was on Lester
and
Banks in 2009.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was SIGGRAPH or NAB. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always harder when it was a part of like an hour-long talk, and you're just like, at some point, I know that this was mentioned in there.
There was something
Like-
EJ did like that once, and it was like, oh, it was on one of his character animations. Oh, okay, well, that's going to be easy. Let me just look up all tutorials on characters that EJ's done.
Yeah, there was one that Russ Gautier did in like 2018 or something like that. That I was like, okay, I need to reference that one.
SIGGRAPH.
And I even hit him up after the project was over. I was like, hey, you used your presentation from,
Yeah.
I don't know, on Colorama.
What are you working on coming up? Do you have anything you can talk about right now?
Yeah.
Not really. Actually, we recently this was a really short project. There's this game thing called like Blancos. So I was involved with making an E3 trailer for that, which was just fun little short turnaround thing. So you just have some character animation, and we're lighting it so it looks kind of like vinyl toys. So that wasn't
That's cool.
the most complicated thing, but yeah, there's other exciting things that we're presently working on, which will be live, like later in the year, stuff like that. So many things I've worked on are just like, this might be public facing in 2 years. It's like, great. And that's partially why I have like no 3D work available, is all these projects I was on. It's just like, we're in like the previs, development, pre-production stage right now. So it's like, damn, I can't do anything with that.
Or finishing up a project that isn't released for like another 6 months. And then I mean, that's why we haven't updated our reel in a couple years. All of our stuff has been NDA.
Man.
Yeah.
It's
You gotta do more-
NDA.
you
It's
gotta do
NDA
more,
and for the meal. So
For the
neither
meal,
of those go on the website.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks.
Right.
So
Not for the reel, only for the meal. So
That's a good line. I'm gonna start using that.
for the meal for the real. Yeah. Let's go to some links real quick before Mograph recommends.
Mograph recommends.
That's Dorpy's version, right?
Right.
When he's hanging out with Scooby Doo. So if you had been following Raphael Rao working on his Game Boy, holy crap!
Oh my god!
The animated version of this
that was gorgeous.
Yeah.
It was. That was beautiful.
Yeah, all those components and everything, and the way they rendered out.
Yeah,
man.
I'm curious if he like actually like took one apart, or like had one and took one apart, or whether he like just found images online.
We need to get him on the show again. It's been a while.
We do.
It has been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah. His stuff was very helpful for me getting into Octane in the first place, for sure.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Yeah, freaking genius with the amount of texture knowledge and rendering knowledge. So make sure you check that out. And then also wanted to mention Steve Bell. Steve Bell is an architectural animator and combines drone stuff with architectural. And he posted something, the way I found him this week was he posted something on the Octane group. And I was just scrolling through my Facebook feed, and I don't really think anything of it. I didn't actually think it was a render. I saw the shot, and I was like, oh, that's a cool drone shot. Man, that's a crazy looking facility. And then I realized it was not real. It was done in Octane. And I was like, man, this is impressive. And I started going through, and I started looking at his stuff, and I'm like, man, we really need to talk. So already I hit him up on Instagram. He agreed. He's going to be on the show. We got to work out a time. But I think it would be fun to have an architectural show. So we'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll post a link so you can check out that stuff ahead of time. But let's go to Mograph recommends. I have to use the restroom. I'm beating you to it this time, Matt.
Awesome.
So
I'm actually good.
Oh,
I've been real
okay.
good.
Yeah,
Like,
I had the
haven't-
Monster Energy.
I don't know.
So
This morning, like, I've been trying to not drink a bunch of caffeine in the morning, so like I only had my first drink like maybe a couple hours ago, so I'm good. I'm good.
all right.
Good. Yeah.
Fired up.
All right.
Well, I'm gonna.
It was a Monster Energy drink, and I drank it very fast. So, yeah, I can start it off.
Yeah, do it up. Movie is
Mograph
first, right?
recommends.
Yeah.
First one is favorite
All right,
movie.
BRB.
That's for me, right?
That is for you, yes.
Well, I would say I have some movies that are super.
It doesn't have
inspiring
to be
me.
favorite of all time. It could be favorite of all time or favorite currently.
Yeah, I can give you two good examples. It's like there's some movies that are just super inspiring to me just because like the scale, the complexity, like movie like 2001 or Synecdoche, New York, or Eternal Sunshine. There's like where it's all layered and everything. I think those are super cool. But there's also ones that are just so eminently rewatchable, and it's like it's not even a guilty pleasure. It's just like a fun movie. And for me, that would definitely be like Pirates of the Caribbean. I love those movies, especially the first one. Like
the first
amazing.
time I saw that one in the theater, I went into it expecting nothing, and I was blown away with how well done it was.
It's
like
such a fun ride.
My favorite part of that movie is when they're like sword fighting and they're jumping from like shoots of light, and they keep on switching back from like skeleton to normal person to skeleton to normal person.
I think it's a perfect movie.
That blew me away. I was like, this is such a good movie. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, it's super tight. Everything about it. There's nothing I would change about that movie.
No,
for sure.
It was perfect. It was so good. Yeah.
Yeah. And on top of that, there's just also Lord of the Rings, obviously. I mean, like cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah.
Those are realms I travel in. What are they saying?
Mike Myers, Cat in the Hat.
No, that's actually true. That's my brother. Is
it?
Yeah. Dude, I love Cat in the Hat.
Really?
Yeah,
that is
it's
an
one of those
awful
things.
movie, though.
But hear me out.
Okay.
So, if you like Mike Myers at all, he did the Austin Powers things. He took that character and then just, ran over Cat in the Hat. Like it just didn't do Dr. Seuss any justice to his source material. But at the same time, they created exactly what they wanted to. Like when you look at it, the production design is actually immaculate. Like everything about it like looks really good. And if you interpret it like this is some weird interdimensional Stephen King cat thing that's haunting these kids, it's hilarious. So give it a watch again and then see what you think. But if you turn your brain off, it's fun.
Don't go into it thinking a lovable Dr. Seuss novel.
Right. Yeah. So
go into it thinking WTF with this movie.
Just let it be what it is and acknowledge that they made exactly what they wanted to make. Because apparently, I don't know if this is true, but like the director was like this novice director, and then Mike Myers essentially just like micromanaged him and then made the movie that he wanted to make. So it just steered it in a totally different way. But yeah, if you're going into it expecting something like Paddington, then you'd be disappointed because Paddington is actually a nice family movie.
It's a wonderful movie. Both 1 and 2 are fantastic.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. But Cat in the Hat is just like this drug fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just reading the comments now that I'm back. I'm like, so was your favorite movie Austin Powers?
No, it was Cat in the Hat.
Oh, okay.
No, that was one
Mike
of the
Myers.
few. We were talking about Pirates before that.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
The original Curse of the Black Pearl. You know.
Gotcha.
Very good. Yeah. I had only recently, well, not recently, like after they had all been released, like the second and third and fourth, that big trilogy that they did, or maybe it was the second and the third, but they did two or three back to back, and it's like they tied together, and I didn't see those until years later. And I heard a lot of people just be like, "Oh, there's so many stories upon stories," and but I loved it. I always think that the Pirates of the Caribbean movies they're just, I mean, they're
can't
good
think of
movies.
Yeah, I can't think of any better, fresh to screen adaptation than that, because a lot of times it's just like it was a book or it's a comic or it's a remake, but
this
Pirates
was
is
a
just like
ride.
a brand new story.
Yeah.
And, it's just based off a ride. Yeah. So
Right.
to me, that makes it more impressive than the majority of films that have come out in
Right.
the last decade. Even if you're not as big of a fan of the second and third, you know, you
Right.
still got to admit, like, the creativity involved with, like, the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they see people and everything, and the lore that it builds. I mean,
Yeah.
to do that
Yeah.
just in a movie and not in like a book or a comic series, I think is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Personally.
point.
I mean, and the fact that it's based off of a ride, I think,
Yeah.
like, you know, I mean, is if anyone has seen the Country Bear Jamboree movie, it is awful, so bad.
I'm waiting
Worst
for them to
movie
come up
I've
with
ever
a
seen.
movie based on the teacup ride. That's gonna be the next one. The teacups come to
Scarlett
life.
Johansson is doing a movie based off of the Haunted Mansion, I believe. Even though I'm pretty sure
That could be okay.
they already did one, and then The Rock has his coming out for the Jungle Cruise, which is just
Oh,
Yeah, it
man.
seems like they're trying to do the formula again, but you know,
Right.
like the synthesis was there with the original
Right.
one. You can't. Yeah, lightning doesn't always strike twice. Maybe
Right.
it will, but
right.
you know.
The Jungle Cruise. I feel like that'll be like that. What was that snake movie? Not the snakes
Anaconda?
on Anaconda. I think it's gonna be like Anaconda or something.
Anaconda was so bad.
God, I forgot.
With J-Lo, wasn't it
Anaconda.
J-Lo?
Was it J-Lo?
Was-
I don't
I think J-Lo
remember.
was
It was
in
a
Anaconda.
long time ago. That was like 20
yeah.
years ago, right?
I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, so
Oh,
did I, because I worked at the
At
theater.
least 20 years ago.
But yeah, wow.
I missed that one. Doesn't seem like I'm missing much.
You're
Anaconda.
not.
So where are we at now? We have music now? Music?
No, TV show.
Oh, did you already do music or no?
No, we
Or
haven't
just
done
a
music.
movie.
Oh, yeah, music's next.
Well, I listened to a bunch of
25
weird
years
stuff.
ago, Dave.
God.
What is 25 years ago?
Anaconda?
Oh, damn,
No
that's old.
Yeah.
way. Oh, man.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I'm old.
Surprising.
God,
J-Lo.
there's a
It was
storm. There's
J-Lo.
a storm building right here, right now, really big. I really hope it doesn't like take out our interwebs.
Big, exciting way to end.
Yeah,
Right.
go out with a bang, literally. Music. When you're working and when you're not working, do you listen to the same thing?
I generally don't listen to music when I'm working. Sometimes I do if it's going to be like, you know, I know I'm going to be pushing buttons for a while and I don't need to think about it.
Yeah.
Then I might even turn a podcast in if it's like really,
Mhm.
you know, like grunt work sort of stuff. But if I have to think about it, I don't listen to music. I listen to a bunch of different random stuff. Like my Spotify, like year in review thing is just like, it was like Philip Glass, which is like this, you know, symphonic composer.
Mhm.
And then there's like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, which is like this Australian psychedelic rock
Why
group.
do I know? I know that.
That
band
sounds
for
like
some
something
reason,
Matt would
yes.
listen to.
Yeah.
You might, yeah, I like them a lot. And then there's also like, you know, Kanye West, and then like Vaporwave or something. I don't know.
That's the problem with like putting things just on ambient, like listening to chill hop on Spotify, is it completely skews those results. You're like, don't
Yeah.
you wish you could take the chill hop out of it so that all your recommendations weren't all like whatever random genre you put on in the background?
Yeah.
I mean, I generally pick things explicitly. It's just that I have like certain feelings and like vibes that I want to, like when I listen to music, it's like because, you know, maybe if I want something that's more intense, then I would go for something like, you know, Carpenter Brute or Perturbator. If you know those guys, it's just kind of like, I don't know if you know Hotline Miami. There's that game that came out, you know, it's very like heavy, you know, synth kind of grungy, you know, rock stuff like that. Or, you know, something even like Death Grips, which is loud and is like loud rap yelling. So it's just like whatever I feel like at the moment. That's kind of like I'll find something that matches that.
My problem is that I end up getting like, oh, your top song of the year was the song that we play to intro the Mograph podcast. It's like, okay, can I exclude some of this stuff, please?
My
Yeah,
top
yeah.
song of the year was "The Wheels on the Bus" because it's the only
Oh.
thing that will put my kid to sleep.
That's why my daughter has her own Spotify account.
My kid does too.
Mark.
Yeah. When you mentioned podcasts too, what kind of podcasts you listen to if you do?
I will generally listen to things if some kind of scientist or like mathematician or, you know, technologist, whatever it is, you know, that's largely what I listen to. You know, I don't like listen to any particular podcast regularly, and I haven't really gotten into any of those. I know there's like one that's called like Reply It or something like that.
Oh,
right?
Reply
I was
All?
like,
Or
yeah. Some people have sent me a couple of those, and I thought it was enjoyable. But a lot of times for me, the podcast thing is because I'm interested in hearing about like what a different industry is like, or largely that kind of stuff.
I hear good things about Reply All. I haven't had a chance to even check it out yet, but I think that's the name of it. If we're thinking of the same one.
Yeah, I believe we are. Yeah.
Now circling back to the TV shows now. Kevin, looking at you.
Oh boy.
Kevin, where
You
is
already
he at?
said it.
He already
Put him
said
in
it,
here.
just in case.
Yeah.
You got to get one in the queue. But TV shows. What TV shows do you listen to? Do you watch?
Presently, the roommates and I have been watching Ozark because I hadn't seen it, and they all had, and they really liked it. And I've been really enjoying that so far. I think it's been super well written, so I've enjoyed that. It's definitely like a kind of spiritual successor in some sense to like Breaking Bad, but it's more
I can see
it's
that.
a little bit more granular and everything. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also checked out the Castlevania animated series more recently.
Yeah?
Just
How was
I wanted to look into that. The animation's pretty great, and I enjoyed watching it for sure. And I don't generally watch too many. I've been watching all the Marvel shows just because I think they're. I like to do these like fun popcorn movie kind of show things too.
Loki.
I'm enjoying that one too.
So good.
I hear good things for sure.
Oh my
I
gosh,
haven't seen
it is the best show on TV right now. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes.
Has anybody has anybody done an Ozark mashup with Arrested Development? Like
that'd be a good idea.
like a fake, you know what I'm saying? That would be funny if they could figure out a funny way to do that.
One of those like trailer kind of edits where you make it something else, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
You could do that for sure. And beyond that, there's also just Rick and Morty came back, so of course I'm watching those.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Was there a new one last night?
There
I don't
was.
remember.
I need to rewatch
Okay.
it.
I was watching like a few days after the fact.
Yeah, I never watch anything live. It's always the day after because I don't want to I pay for cable, but it's such a pain to deal with cable and like the hookup and everything for your cable, and then it's all on Wi-Fi. It's not directly connected, so it doesn't even work half the time. So I just wait a day. Wait a day.
I
I'm
just
fine
use
with
Matt's
waiting.
login and
Yeah.
no, actually, I have just for Rick and Morty. I have a YouTube live account so that I can log in and watch it. We watch it live. Like there's something very old school about 10 o'clock on Sunday. We're gonna be. You got to be there right when it starts, or you got to miss it, or you got to wait until 1 a.m. to catch it again.
Yeah. Time's gone by.
Yeah. But the one they had, I think last week with the superhero woman that was supposed to be like Captain Planet.
Oh, Captain Planet.
That was a great episode.
That was a good episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I always love how creative they get with some of these episodes. Like the concepts are always fun.
Yeah. Let's see. We jumped around a little bit, so let's see. I'm gonna go to without mentioning a render engine. What is your favorite plugin to use?
Well, X Particles is always cool just because it enables you to do particle stuff better or more easily than you would otherwise be able to do. But beyond that, well, actually, Rocket Lasso came out with a Ricochet plugin, which I've used on a couple of projects recently. So, I mean, that's just like if you want to have a spline reflect off of anything, this would be, it's the way to do it. It makes it way easier. So that's actually pretty helpful. And then it's not really a plugin, but I think Embergen is very cool. You can make the smoke stuff outside of it and just export the VDB sequence and bring it in. And I think that I'll be using that more in the future for sure. Anytime I need to make any volume simulation.
As far as somebody who likes TFD, I think I'm really going to be into it once it's like native inside of Cinema or something.
Yeah, I think that Autoy was planning on integrating it, and that'll be very cool. And I feel like if you have like an intuitive sense for how to put those things together, I mean, gosh, you'll be able to do some crazy stuff, I'm sure.
It's the same kind of concept of what we were talking about earlier. Once like GPU really hit and you're able to do this stuff in real time, just to be able to like be mastering these cool tornado creations and fire and all this kind of like
Yeah.
just in real time, man. It's so much fun. It's like being a kid and playing with toys.
Yeah. It makes me think of like, playing with action figures as a kid where I'd like,
Yeah.
I'd make one like hit the other. But in my head, there's like this, Dragon Ball Z style, like energy blast coming off
Pew
of
pew
it.
pew.
So,
You're making sounds while you do it.
yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. Absolutely.
Explosion. Yeah.
Like smack them into the ground.
Yeah. So, oh, here comes the rain. I hear it. It's coming. So far, so good.
Africa.
All right.
Sorry.
The next question is
You got a lot of me singing this episode.
your go-to app on your phone. What's your muscle memory? Are you an Instagrammer? Are you a TikToker?
I am on Instagram more than I'd like to be. Just like when you post there, it's kind of hard to resist going like, did I get a like or something again? And
Right.
so
Yeah.
I'll do it absentmindly. But yeah,
Gotta
TikTok
get that
is
dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I got I'm hooked. It's bad, but I limit myself, so I'm safe.
Got to go through stories, see the latest clip of Dorpy and his adventures.
I've started liking stories more than I do.
Me too.
Like I'll go through my stories way before I'll go through my timeline.
Even
I
on
kind of
Facebook,
ignore the
too,
timeline.
Yeah.
I hate Facebook.
And Facebook is just silent for me now, man. There's just nothing there anymore. Politics is
Yeah.
gone.
I've hit all
You
the
know?
people that I don't like, and now it's just you and another friend of mine.
And everybody just agrees with what you say. So what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's kind of dead.
What about video games? This should be a good one for you. What's your favorite video game?
Fun fact, I don't really play games too much anymore. After Team Fortress 2, I kind of just stopped playing games for the most part, especially console ones.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally I'll pick up a game. But now that I live, here with, some buddies, we have the Nintendo Switch. So we'll play, the party games like, actually Mario Party or just Smash or Mario Kart, things like that.
I see the new Mario Party game that's coming out.
Oh, I thought you were
It's
going to
like
say
a whole
Mario
bunch of-
Kart. Where's the new
the
Mario
golf,
Kart?
the golf one?
No, so I bought the golf one. The golf one is excellent. I like
Yeah,
it.
it looks
I like
it
a
looks
lot.
crazy. Yeah.
And what's cool is like you can play multiple people and you can all like tee off at the same time, and it's like first one in the hole.
Yeah.
First one in the hole in the least amount, wins, and it's very cool. And you can like run along and kick their ball and stuff like that. It's
I
really
was
cool.
like, wow, I've never been interested in a golf game before.
Right.
Thanks, Nintendo.
But there's a new Mario Party game coming out where it's got all the old classic like mini games and stuff like that, like all the favorite mini games from all the old ones.
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna be
haven't seen
cool.
that yet. Yeah,
I'm
do
excited
that.
about
Love
that.
Mario Party.
Yeah.
I think for the rest of my life, for me, getting older, it's just going to be 3 games the rest of my life. The most current version of Halo, the most current version of GTA, and the most current version of Mario Kart. And that's about it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't really see much coming down the pipe that I really like get into like that anymore.
I've been following this guy on TikTok, 1980s gamer on TikTok. He like talks about all these old NES games and he live streams all the time, and he's been playing Super Mario 3. So I just the past couple days I downloaded an NES emulator, and I wanted to make sure that it specifically had like cheat codes in it, so that I could cheat, because these NES games are hard AF. They are so hard unless you spent like hours and hours and days and days and days like memorizing when you needed to jump and when you needed to hit and stuff like that. Those games are hard. So I played through like 3 games the other day. One of them was Ninja Gaiden, which I don't know if y'all ever played Ninja Gaiden on the
Gaiden
NES.
Or Gaiden? I hear people say
I
it
don't
both
know.
ways, and I never knew.
Ninja Gaiden. That's Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, I don't know. It is the hardest game I've ever played in my life. I had it to where
More than Cuphead, huh?
More than Cuphead, yes. Cuphead was hard in the fact that it was like, like it was repetitive, but this one was hard in the fact that like glitches would mess you up, or they were purposely sending as many bad guys to you as possible. I had invincibility, so I couldn't be hurt, but you'd still react to getting hit and stuff like that. These freaking birds, man, they come out over and over and over again, and you're like, how am I supposed to do anything? So with this, you also have the ability to hit R and L on your controller, and it will rewind time.
Nice.
So
Nice.
like, I eventually would end up dying because I would run out of time trying to get past the level, you know. But it took me like an hour to beat the game, and then I played Legend of Zelda, like the original Zelda game, you know, with infinite hits and stuff like that, and I never lose power, and that was such a fun game to play. These games are so much fun when you don't have to worry about dying, you know. It's like I enjoy it for the adventure.
And speaking of losing power, I don't want to lose power here. We're going to have to keep moving before this storm hits, so we're going to be in trouble here.
Really that
So,
bad?
This little area right here is, yeah, it's pretty bad. So hopefully everything's good here, but I hear a lot of thunder. Okay. Life hack. This is the tough one, and the example we always give. Mitch Myers, turn the toaster on its side for some bomb-ass grilled cheese. What's your life hack? And it doesn't have to be something like that. It could be something in productivity or something a little more.
Yeah, I don't have anything, you know, clever like that or fun, but I mean, for me, I have really enjoyed focusing on like habit building and also meditation. Those are two things that I found very beneficial to integrate into my life, which has been in the past few years. So I was like, even just like 10 minutes a day of meditation stuff is, you know, great. You can follow anything that you find on YouTube if you know you don't know what to do with it. And then for habit stuff, there's a book called Atomic Habits, which I thought was very helpful. And that's kind of like informed a little bit of like how I manage my mornings, for example. Like one of the concepts is habit stacking, where you do something and then you do something immediately following it. And then, you know, when you reinforce that link from, you know, one activity to the other, just, you don't have to think about it at all. It's like every morning I get up and I go downstairs and I sit on the couch and I draw on the iPad for 30 minutes to an hour. And then I do some reading, and then I'll do like a workout after that. And so, you know, that pretty much guarantees I get those three things done each day.
Your morning
Right.
is not filled with like just
Emails and phone calls.
I
and all
know.
that. I had a conversation with
I don't
Jeremy.
need emails.
No, I had a conversation with Jeremy about this the other day. I was like, you know, sometimes I feel like on the weekends when I have nothing to do and I end up sitting down and just getting in cinema or something at like 9 or 10 in the morning with my coffee, I actually do pretty well and I actually enjoy it. And I'm like, I wish I could do that during the week. And it's like, why can't I do that during the week? Why don't I just spend 2 hours in cinema from 9 to 11 in the morning and then answer the emails?
yeah,
You know?
So easy to forget to have fun with it, you know,
right.
because you're focusing on all these different things or whatever it is. So, yeah.
That's some of the advice
like
that... Sorry.
I was going to say, just anything that makes it so that it's just easier to get into doing something and starting it. Super helpful.
Yeah, it's something that Simon Homedal said when he was on the show, is that when he was starting to learn Houdini, that's what he would do, is start the morning with like 2 hours of Houdini. That's a hard thing to do before you go to your job.
Yeah. But it's a great way to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. All right. That is all the Mograph recommends. So, Matt, are you ready to do the drop?
Almost.
Almost.
Going
Almost.
my interest. All right, cool. I'm ready.
Almost. You good? Well, let's,
Yep,
let's
let's
do
do
the
it.
drop.
I got my intro.
Drop.
Is this the fucking mic? This is exactly what I should be doing.
What's up, and welcome to this week's episode of The Drop, your weekly source of all things NFT and crypto art, as well as upcoming drops by notable people in the Mograph industry. I'm Matt Milstead, as joining me as always. I always mess up that part. Joining me as always, Dave Koss, and then joining us this week, Joel Thomas. So, some good drops. I don't know. It's kind of an off week. We got one good.
It's summertime,
We got one
you
good.
know.
Yeah, it's summertime. We
Yeah.
got an okay drop coming up this week. But let's start off with the big places, Nifty Gateway, Maker's Place. Coming up today, we've got Alex Solis. I think, is that how you say it? I was super excited
Sure.
about this one. Oh man, it's so
Solace,
cool.
maybe Solace.
Yeah, I think isn't this like Alex did one previously with like the pooping things. I
Oh.
think that was them.
I guess you can't view that in China.
Right. But yeah,
They're
so,
okay
like,
with the poop,
I
but not
think
the
this
poo
one is cool.
himself.
I really,
That's the problem.
I really like Alex's work.
That's
So,
the funny
it's
part.
fun.
Is in China, it's not about the poop. It's about the Pooh Bear, which is
Right.
funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Next up, the 13th, we've got a collaboration between Victor Mascarera, I think is how you say it, and Frederic Duquette, otherwise known as Fuck Render.
Yes.
Which is exciting. This is something that they were collaborating on, I guess. Holding hands.
I don't know. What is going on? What am
I
I?
loved it.
Who's?
I
Wait.
couldn't find any information on it, but I saw this collab incoming. He's thrilled, and I thought it was just so funny.
Whose hand?
I'm pretty sure that's Frederic's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it.
I
So
think
so
that's the same sweatshirt he wore when he was on the show a couple weeks ago.
I think I guarantee you his closet is all filled with just white sweatshirts.
There you go.
I bet.
That's
So
funny.
cool. And then on the 14th, we've got Jonathan Thunder doing drop on Nifty Gateway. I
Ooh,
thought this
that
one was
kinda,
cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's
I see the Hamburglar.
illustrative.
Illustrator. That
you
is the
know.
Hamburglar.
Yeah. So I don't know. Fun little twist on pop
Interesting.
culture and stuff like that. Fun stuff. Next up, the 16th. And I didn't list everyone. I just picked the ones that were kind of Mography and stuff, or you know my rules. If they don't post it, if they don't post it
preview.
on, if they don't post a preview or something, I'm just gonna skip them.
Right.
So,
we got to know what we're dealing with
on the
here. Ooh,
16th,
Gavin, I saw. Ooh,
this is-
Smeeka. Oh, I know all these people.
Crypto cubes. I don't know what this is about.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
Are these all cubes that these individual people did, and they're selling them or something? I
Cubes
don't know.
from Gavin Shapiro.
Right.
I don't know. I'd rather have the
Crypto
flamingos,
Cube
but
raffle, 16 creators. Brendan Dawes, Gavin Shapiro, Shams.
yeah,
See, I should have
Shams.
asked these people, I don't know. Anyway, so that'll be fun.
Generative cubes
Fun.
coming
Yes.
soon.
Next up on the 17th, MBSJQ. I don't know how you say that name.
All right. I think it
Mabuzjikus?
might just be MBSJQ. Is
Yeah,
it supposed to be
MBSJQ.
pronounced? Or
I don't know.
oh.
I thought this one was pretty. I
Okay.
love rainbowy, like the
Iridescent.
iridescent stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like iridescent stuff. I feel like it's really popular in the space, and I
Thanks to
unless it's
yeah.
yeah, I
it-
can't fault it. I like
Yeah,
looking at it.
it's pretty. I think it's neat. So, made by Studio JQ. Okay.
Made,
Made
by,
by
Studio J. Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, so that's a studio. Okay,
See?
yeah.
Okay,
that
that's what
makes
I
sense.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stands for something.
So, and then there's 3 drops on Maker's Place this week. The first one is Gala Marissa.
Marissa?
Gala Marissa. I don't know. It's they are it looks like painting and stuff like that brought to life, and
Kinda some
illustrations.
canvasy looking
I don't know.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. So
Some
interesting, neat
morphine.
little look on it. I did notice. So I feel like the NFT space is starting to
Normalize.
normalize. For example, so Dave, can you do me a favor? Can you go back to the drops on Maker's Place?
Okay.
Just click on the top drops area,
Oh,
and then
all right.
remember the one from last week where it was like the super surreal-esque looking ones, like you had someone like swimming in a suitcase of water and stuff. Can't remember who
Kind
that
of.
artist was.
kind
Let me
of.
see if I can go there real quick. But I've noticed, with a lot of
packaged
drops-
holidays. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
Yeah, it's right
packaged
here next to
holidays.
David Oriev.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, packaged
So
holidays.
I've noticed that a lot of
Perry Cooper.
pieces have been going for less money and
these were
stuff.
nice.
And yeah, I know. See, there's even one remaining on this marine cooler one, and
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked this one.
I'm pretty sure I
anyway.
have that model, that diver model.
Yeah, that diver
Yeah.
model.
These are great. This is
yeah.
really, I love this Christmas tree one, the ski one in the suitcase. That's pretty cool.
Alright.
It's really
That's fun.
yeah. Yeah, but are you saying? Are you talking about the prices normalizing a little bit?
Yeah. I've seen
Yeah.
that the prices have kind of normalized
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which
Mhm.
is cool, and it's good to see that happening as a collector. I haven't bought a lot lately, because I've been kind of waiting for this to normalize and stuff like that, as well as a few other, personal reasons, whatever. But yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, okay. Next up, we got. Sorry, Kevin texted me and really threw me off of my.
About Breaking Bad or The Wire?
No. Let me just. I'm gonna send this in the chat because you're gonna have to bring this up. So I might as well send it to you now.
Okay.
But we'll go to the next one. The next one is Carl Lagasse, I believe it is.
The dollar. The $1.
Yeah, I see. Here's the thing. Here's my problem. I don't know enough about actual fine art.
Is this somebody who's coming from the fine art world? Is that why you're saying that?
Yes. So
Okay.
yes, it's a French painter.
Okay.
And so I believe he did this piece called Dollar or something with the dollar, and it became very famous, I guess. It was like a sculpture of a dollar, right?
Okay.
It was very well known,
All
I
right.
guess.
So it's like a digital version
So
of
it's the digital,
Okay.
right?
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
like, I don't know, whatever. So that's cool. And then the last one is
that.
corn.
Oh, yeah.
Why
Yeah,
not? Who's
corn.
heard of corn in a while? It's been
Yeah.
like 20 years since I heard of corn. Corn and Dreamonaut
Mm-hmm.
are doing a collab together, and I'm very upset that there is no actual music on this. The work looks cool,
Is
but
this?
where's-
I've seen a lot of
where's-
these like where there's no music, and I'm like, isn't
Yeah,
that the
I don't
point?
know.
But
Where's the uta ata ita ata
Yeah.
ita?
Yeah.
Uta ata ita
Yeah.
ita.
yeah.
That's what I need. I need that. When I think of corn, I think of that, and I think of Adidas. So anyway.
So I guess they just collaborated on the idea and not necessarily with the music.
I
guess.
don't know.
Oh, weird.
I don't
Okay.
know. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right.
We've got some
Way to
friends
go.
actually that
Okay.
have some drops coming up soon, but
Yes.
Oh, did you
you
wanna-
see? Did you see the chat? Look at the chat. Okay, so
Yeah.
apparently, if you want a free Space Jam NFT,
okay.
nifties.com/event/Space Jam #free-NFTs.
And you get it for free?
I don't know. It's going it's not loading. But Kevin just sent me that, and he said, if you want a free Space Jam NFT, here it is.
Oh, see, we took down their site with all 3 of our listeners.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would really like a free Space Jam NFT. I hope the NFT looks like their old 1990s website.
Is it going to
So-
be? Is it old Space Jam or new Space Jam?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right. Well, we'll make sure to
So-
link to it in the show notes. At least,
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Here, let me
Oh boy.
Space Jam. Let's see. Hi, Dorpy.
Hey, Matt.
What's up?
I know I haven't been talking about NFTs much lately, but it's
That's
the
true.
summertime and it's hot.
Mhm.
I've just
Yeah.
been sitting around watching Netflix and eating popsicles.
Popsicles.
Yeah. So Netflix, I'm really enjoying Star Trek because I too like to go where no one has gone before.
What?
Like I'm talking about the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
The bathroom.
That
I
was an
poop
okay joke.
in places. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta cut it short. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go to the Apple store and I gotta fix my phone. I'm having a problem with the caller ID.
Oh gosh, that was a stretch, dude.
Okay, bye.
All right,
What do you think? Not bad this week? Not bad?
that's pretty good. Yeah, that's
Gotta
pretty
keep
good.
that writing up. I don't know how
Yep.
long I can do this.
I want to give a shout out and congrats to Paul Robinson. Man, you've been killing it on the NFT
Totes.
front. I'm really proud of you.
Mhm.
Proud of you. I'm proud of you, son.
I'm proud of you,
know,
son. Yeah.
For but yeah, like the work has been fantastic, and I knew if you like event, all of his stuff is sold out, which is great, you know. And he had that one that he released that he told us about on the show last week, and it sold like literally a few minutes later.
Yeah.
Well, started the bidding a few minutes later, and then went up to like 1.5 ETH, which was awesome. That's so great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yep.
I did want to also mention what I was going to say about the scholarships earlier. Wanted to bring it up in the
Yeah.
NFT section. Is that there are different ways to attach things to the blockchain and do NFTs or whatever that are kind of outside the box. I guess last week we talked about books. There's so many other ways this can go, and as this is normalizing, I think people are going to really find some great uses for it. So we're experimenting with this with our scholarship as well, because we're going to put the scholarship on the blockchain. There's going to be a little certificate and everything with your name on it, the official seal and the signatures, and then like a little fun animation from the course. But it will be attached to the blockchain, and you will also get a physical piece as well. It's one of those infinite objects pieces, like with the Beeple frames and stuff. And it'll have your little thing there saying, you got the scholarship. Make sure that you do the course and finish it every day, sitting on your desk. Just a reminder to do the course. But I just want to put that out there, too. There's going to be 2 scholarships for Unreal. There's going to be 4 scholarships for Houdini. So if you get that, you'll get that attached to the blockchain as well. Super official,
Cool.
So I think it'll be a fun way to do that. And we'll probably think of some other fun uses for NFTs down the line as well.
Yeah.
It's the future.
It's the future.
Man, it's starting to rain hard.
Okay, well, let's close it up.
All right, let's do that.
If you're doing a drop and you have a drop that you'd like to shill on the show, feel free to reach out to us at info@mograph.com, and we'll shill it.
All right.
We'll do that shilling.
All right.
So
Let's get out of the drop.
let's do it.
Is this the fucking mic? This is exactly what I should be doing.
What's crazy is that I looked on the radar, and it's literally the tiniest little
Thing
red area
right on me.
right over you.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
but it's moving away. Luckily, we're wrapping up the show anyway, so
Yep.
hopefully we can get out of here before it gets too
Yeah.
loud. It's getting so loud.
Yeah. Joel, thank you so much for being on the show. It's excellent conversation. Excellent conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I enjoyed talking with you guys.
Yeah, man.
If people want to find you online, where's the best place to find you and find all the things that you're working on?
Well, up until I have a website, it's going to be my Instagram. Well, it's really hard to mirror yourself.
Yeah, it's like
to
being a
pull
weatherman.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Just
then
down.
Yeah.
And then there's also just Territory Studios work, which you can just see stuff I worked on there. And Territory Studio is hiring right now, so if you got the chops, if you got the chutzpah, so,
Remotely as well as in person?
it'd be preferable for people to be able to be in the Bay Area. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But
Cool.
concessions are always made if the fit is right.
If the value's there.
The
Right?
value,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right. Cool. Well, we're going to get out of here. You can rate us on iTunes, leave a review on your podcatcher of choice. That helps get our ratings up. You can also subscribe to all the things, including our newsletter, which goes out every month or so. I think it was going to go out this week, but I'm going to wait till we have a couple more things solidified that we can throw in the newsletter. So probably next week. You can say you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt with the Mograph logo tee, the Paul Babb Classic Feel the Babb 2020 shirt. All the profits from that go to Doctors Without Borders. The Render Things t-shirt, hoodie, and long sleeve tee, which is the most popular. Pedro says looking for people in London as well. So
That's
put
right.
that
Yeah.
out
I'm biased to America. My bad.
there. No. Yeah.
Whoops.
And then we got the That Render is Fire shirt, which you're only allowed to wear ironically, unless you're shams.
Yeah.
And the Mograph Blandishment shirt, which is all up on the website. You can check that out.
If you want a Camp Mograph hoodie, find someone who's going to Camp Mograph and have them buy you a hoodie.
There you go.
We'll have those. So
And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Subscribe.
TikTok.
Help me get some more followers there.
We got to go viral. viral.
Gotta go
We're gonna
viral.
We're gonna make a viral video to go
We
viral.
need to make a viral video. How much do you charge for a viral video? Yeah.
for a viral video.
So get those numbers up. Help me beat my daughter at followers. She's watching right now. She just said hi.
Help me
And,
beat my daughter
yeah.
at followers.
At followers. Yeah, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, subscribe, and Mograph.com. Check us out there. You can check out all the info about the upcoming shows and the times and all of that stuff. So that about wraps it up. So until next time, I'm Dave.
And I'm Matt.
And I'm Joel.
Have a good one.
Later, yo.